culminates with the Wrangler's Rodeo, where we have the professional cowboys, the stunt Ds, the cast, and the creators all team up in different ways, and they compete against each other for the bragging rights.
Welcome to Watch Mojo's Poppin the Culture, your weekly entertainment touchpoint. And me, well, I'm your host with the most, Mojo, of course. That's right, it's me, Mr. Hollywood himself, Matt Demers. Such a great show coming your way. I'll be speaking with Ian Bohen. You know him from, well, Teen Wolf. He's in Yellowstone. Oh, and he's also in Superman and Lois. Do not want to miss this chat. But first, let's jump into those Hollywood headlines. All right, as we do each and every show, we kick things off with a bit of a deep dive into the Hollywood headlines, where we look at some of the more interesting developments out there in La La Land. I always need help doing it, and to help me break it all down, why, she's back. Hello, Kyra. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
I'm excited to chat with you because we've got a lot going on, and I know Batman fans like myself have been waiting for the release of the Batman, and it's finally here.
I know.
Now, okay, I've seen it at the time of this recording. I've got it on my advance pick. I signed all these embargoes. Don't worry, by the time this drops, everyone else will have a chance to see it. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but Kyra, I absolutely loved it. This is like, for a Batman fan like myself, like the darker, the better. If you want a dark Batman, because I always do,
yeah,
this is it. This is the dream. It's like nice. Batman meets Saw meets like the movie Seven. It's
okay.
Like, no. It's like so psychological. It's very much in line with the Christopher Nolan Batmans, but even pushes it. And I love the directing that was done by Matt Reeves. What's your take on Batman? I don't even know. Are you a Batman fan?
I am a Batman fan. I mean, it's like, how can you not be a Batman fan? But I will say, like, the Dark Knight was my Batman. Like, that was the one that I grew up, and like that was like the biggest one for me. Like, that was so good. Like, yeah, like Christian, like Bale was my Batman, and now Pattinson, I think, will be my new Batman. And I am like I am in full support of Pattinson. I am not one of those people. Yeah, because like I feel like people, you know, they associate Pattinson to Twilight, but those people are just like wrong. Like, he's had such like a like rich film career since Twilight that I was like fully on board. I'm like, yeah, he's gonna kill it, like, for sure. And he's super weird, like, as a person. He's like a super goofy dude, and like quite, I don't know, man. I was just like, yeah, I think he's gonna be great. I'm very excited to see it. I'm kind of scared. I feel like it'll be dark, but
it is. The rating is like, I thought the rating would be like R or wherever you are. It's different countries, but it's not. I think it's like what, PG-13 or whatever. So there's no like blood and gore, but I think the themes are like so dark.
Is he? Would you say that he's darker? Because I feel like typically when I think of Batman, like, I think of the Joker as being the dark, like, aspect of it, like the villain being. Would you say that he is the dark part of the movie?
Everybody is.
Everybody's
the Riddler,
dark.
Yeah, the Riddler is like so dark.
Okay.
And then Pattinson's great. I want to stick on Pattinson for just a second because you mentioned the Twilight stuff, and you're so right, because I remember I even dressed up as Robert Pattinson for Halloween as like a joke, because he was like, not to say he was a joke, but when he was in Twilight, you know, with the, what was it? The sparkling, the sparkling vampire, and he had the hair. Yeah, people were doing parodies of him on, like, I remember Jimmy Fallon did one. Yeah, that was kind of funny. So yeah, he was kind of seen as like a joke character on Twilight. Do you think now he's like A-list? Because once you're Batman and you nail it, because I think he does nail it, I think maybe that transcends you into a superstardom. Is he there?
Yeah. I hope so. I think he's A-list. I think he was A-list after Lighthouse, and like I also think he was A-list after like The Devil All the Time. Like, I think he's done some good shit. Like, he's done some good stuff. Like
his post-Twilight career is like amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Plus, like, I feel like the fun thing is, like, you know, he had sort of like the Zac Efron effect where it's like people didn't take him seriously because like High School Musical was Zac Efron's Twilight. And like for Pattinson, I think like once people realize, maybe through watching him in interviews or just like watching him as a celebrity, but like he's such a like funny dude. Like he doesn't really take himself very seriously, which I love. Like I hate when actors are too like pompous and stuff. And like he's very like, he's just like, he loves the joke. Like he's in on the joke, which I love. He doesn't take himself too seriously. And he's a great guy. He's a great actor.
No, it's great. So hopefully this puts Pattinson in the A-list because I think he deserves it. But of course, anyone out there that's seen the movie, I want to know what you guys think. And Kyra, when you see it, you chime in too.
I will tell you.
I'm gonna swipe to something that I know you've seen and I know you watch regularly. That being Saturday Night Live. I'm right there with you. I watch it every week. I love these guys.
Yeah.
We had a new inductee in what Saturday Night Live calls the Five Timers Club. It's a very elite group. It's hosts that have hosted at least 5 times, right?
Yeah.
And there's usually, I think there's only 22 so far, which is, some people might say, well, that's not elite, but I mean, the show's been on since the 70s, folks. So, John Mulaney was the one that just came in as the newest member of the Five Timers Club, but there's been so many. I'll just go through a quick few names here. I mean, Steve Martin, we saw him this past Saturday. Elliot Gould, he was also on there. Chevy Chase, Candice Bergen, Tom Hanks, Danny DeVito, John Goodman, you know, Timberlake, Bill Murray, of course, Christopher Walken, Drew Barrymore, Ben Affleck, which I was surprised to see.
That's so random.
Scarlett Johansson even. Yeah, she was a 5-timer. Tina Fey. So a lot of people that used to be on the show come back.
Yeah.
Same with Mulaney, of course. Melissa McCarthy, one of my favorites. The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Jonah Hill, Will Ferrell, and of course Paul Rudd.
Yes.
Who's your fave? I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who's your fave of the 5 timers?
Okay, I have 2. Well, oh god, no, I kind of have 3. Okay, well, my first immediate is obviously Tina Fey. Like always Tina Fey, Team Tina. Never gonna change my opinion on Ms. Tina. She is the best. But I would also say, you know, I want to say Paul Rudd is like my second, but I have to say I have such like a like rich respect for Steve Martin. Like he's just like he's an OG. Like he is like SNL at its prime when it started.
This past Saturday, when he was in the skit for this 5 Timers Club. He was just holding he had a pipe, but he was holding it backwards for like 5 minutes. And that little thing had me cracking up. He's so fun and he's so like, I don't know, he's so wholesome and he's such like a comedy mogul that I think people forget how inspirational he is to like the comedy scene and like for me especially. And like obviously I saw him on Only Murders in the Building like this past fall, and I was like, okay, resurgence. Steve Martin's back. Steve Martin and Marty Short. Them two together are amazing. I keep wanting them to host like. Yeah,
they should host like the Oscars. I was hearing rumors, which obviously probably are not true, that like Zendaya and Tom Holland were gonna host, and I was like, no, it was Tom Holland's gonna host, and then both of the others, like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, are gonna like come in and like switch, and like they'll all host like simultaneously, but keep switching with each other. And I would love that. I would maybe watch the Oscars. So.
maybe that would get people to tune in. Before we move on from SNL, John Mulaney, he was the host. He had a crazy year. I mean, and he talks about the rehab stint in his opening monologue, and he made it like really funny. Yes. Because he could do that. It's John Mulaney. I know. But he also had the thing where he divorced his wife, and then he had a baby. Like it was a crazy year for Mulaney. It was
a wild year.
What do you think of John Mulaney?
I love John Mulaney. He's one of my favorite comics. I love his work. I love his like style of comedy, all of his material. I'm like, yes, Team Mulaney. And then this year, because the thing is, like John Mulaney, if you've seen his comedy before, he seems like such like a wholesome dude.
Yeah, that's
and he
what
seems like
me.
Yeah, he has very like, I wouldn't call it clean comedy, but it's almost like he's so like creative in what he talks about that he never really touches on like, you know, substance abuse and stuff. He talks about the fact that like
it's like Jerry Seinfeld.
Yes.
You're totally right about that. And it'd be like if we found out that Seinfeld, you know, went to rehab. We'd be like,
that's the thing. And like Mulaney talks, like he drifts, like he sort of like sifts over it in some of his like specials. the fact that he used to like, you know, have like these issues with like drugs and alcohol in college and throughout his like early 20s. And I remember being like so shocked because I was like, he seems like such a clean cut guy. And then obviously when like all this happened last year, I was genuinely like heartbroken. Like I was like, I'm such a giant fan. I'm so heartbroken. I'm glad that he's back and he seems to be doing pretty well. I hope. I don't know. I think he's doing okay.
Well, if his appearance on Saturday Night Live was any indication, he's totally back and super hilarious. And I would love to see him host a 6th time.
Me too. And I want Stefan to come next time. I thought Stefan would be there. I was like, what's going on?
He was the brainchild, right? He was the writer during that time.
He wrote Stefan. Like that's like his biggest, I don't know, man. I was just like, I'm sure Stefan's going to be there. And then what Weekend Update happened and I was like, he's coming out. He's going to come. And then he just never came. And I was like, it's fine. He'll be there.
Bill haters too busy. Haters too busy.
I know.
All right. Speaking of what to watch, every time I get one of my Watch Mojo friends on here, I like to task you guys with some picks. I just genuinely said, Kyra, what is something that we have to be watching? Maybe something that you're binging, or maybe something that you've got on the radar for the future. What do you got for us? What's your prediction? Don't let us down.
Well, I just finished Inventing Anna. Oh. And I would suggest that you watch that because this is
great. Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix.
And it's the girl from Ozark, correct?
Yes. Yeah, Julia
Garner?
Julia Garner, that's it. Yes,
Garner?
She's not related to Jennifer Garner, and I was upset about it. It's fine.
This has been on my radar. How was this? Because this is based on a true story. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, based on a true story. Shonda, it's Shondaland, so Shonda rhymes, so you know it's gonna be great. And it is really, it's so enticing. Like it's like a commitment though. It is long. Each episode is over an hour, and there are 9. So each episode is basically a feature film, and there are 9 of them. But it's so like if you like anything about New York, socialite, you know, that sort of ecosystem of people, if you think that's interesting, or like just like influencer culture, watch it because it is very good.
She swindled all of them. I know. I remember hearing and reading little bits and pieces about the real subject, so I'm excited to find out that this recreation from Netflix is actually really good.
You just need to get through her accent. Her accent's a little, you know, it's hard to listen to. It's like listening to a German valley girl. Like it's like a you know, kind of like a bubbly Instagram person who's also German. So it's like a lot.
There you go. Well, on Ozark, she has that like hillbilly twang, which is hilarious half the time when she's like spewing her venom at people. That's great. I'm totally going to check this out. I'm glad it's good. All right, Kyra, don't go anywhere, please, because me and you, it's time. We got to go. We got to go beyond the list. All right, Kyra, as we do on our show, we dig deep in the vast archives of Watch Mojo. There's so many top 10 lists out there. We like to pluck one out, rather, and go beyond that list. Really, though, that's just me and you giving our own personal opinions. Did Watch Mojo get it right? Did they get it wrong? Let's have a bit of nostalgia today because we are doing top 10 teenager movies of all time. I'm a huge movie guy. I love all genres. Some a little bit more than others, but I am a sucker for a good teen movie. What about you? What says you?
I am a huge sucker for a teen movie. Teen movies are in my top 3 favorite movie genres.
They're just kind of fun. They're fun.
Yeah. Anything nostalgic, I'm into it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little older now, but when I was younger, when I was a teen, I was all over it. So let's see if some of my faves are on this list, and you can tell me as we go through if some of these are on your list as well.
Okay.
So what is the criteria here? We're just looking at those just kind of movies that got us through the nightmare of adolescence, the best ones. So if you are going through that nightmare, folks, here you go. Here's your picks. Number 10 on the Watch Mojo list is one that I'm fully aware of. It's called Bring It On. This is the cheerleading one.
Yeah.
I love a good cheerleading teen movie. I feel like there's been a bunch of Bring It On since then, but I've never seen any of them except for the original.
Yeah, they kind of get like increasingly worse, but I love all of them.
Who is in this? I'm just trying to. Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, this is right around the time. Well, she did Spider-Man, I think, after this.
Yeah.
But this was the Kirsten Dunst era.
Yeah. We love it. One
And
of the
by the
most
way-
like. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Kirsten Dunst is having a bit of a comeback. She's in The Power of the Dog, which is like an Oscar-nominated
Ooh.
Netflix. And she looks pretty much the same. I don't think
Yeah,
she's
I
aged
think
too
she
much.
doesn't age.
Yeah.
She's great.
This is the one where they say, bring it, but then the other person's like, oh, it's already been broughten. Or brought. No?
This is the one where, well, it's the Clover, so it's Gab Union is
Yeah.
like the opposing squad, and it's like a big, I don't know, this one has like one of the most iconic opening scenes of a movie is when she does like the pep rally, and then she like has the like pom-poms, and she like ends up being like nude, and it's great, and it's fun.
It is fun. Teen movies are fun.
Yes.
Just entertainment-wise. They're not winning Oscars, guys. They're just here to entertain
They should
us.
be. Hey, they should be.
Okay, but number 9, I have an issue with number 9 because I didn't understand it. I'm not the target audience. I get it. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. The concept is that they share a pair of jeans
Yes.
amongst themselves.
Yeah.
This is the movie?
This is the movie.
I judge it based on the concept and the trailers that I've seen.
No, you can't judge the concept. It's silly, okay? First of all, they are all different heights and shapes and, people, but somehow this magical pair of jeans fits them all. And that's the premise. And then the whole point is that it's like a sisterhood. So they're like high school friends, and then they all like branch out over the summer and go different places, but the jeans always find their way back to them. So they like send them to each other to stay in contact. And the jeans bring them like good vibes, and it's just like a great little sisterhood movie. It's great.
I get that part. I think it's just the pants part, the jeans part that makes it funny. Like why couldn't it be like a bracelet or like a hat? It has to be like jeans.
It's very like 2000s that you would share a pair of low-rise jeans. Like that's not happening today.
Low-rise jeans. Oh man, I do remember those. I very much remember those. That's where we saw everyone's like what you call a tramp stamp. Remember that?
Oh
the
yeah.
Back tattoo. You could see everybody's because of those low-rise jeans. No judgment, folks. No judgment. Number 8 is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. This was actually really great. 2012. I can't believe it was that long ago.
I know.
We were dealing with a freshman in high school, and just great performances. Just kind of nails the, that part of your life. And I feel like that's always the hallmark of a good teen movie, when you can watch it and be like, whether you're going through it or you've gone through it, and you're like, yeah, that's genuine.
Yeah. And like
That's
Emma
real.
Watson was in it, which we love Emma Watson. I feel like this was like the movie that like the hipsters loved in high school, Like this was like I'm like just a weirdo. I'm like a weirdo. It's like Jughead's speech from Riverdale, but like actually cool. It was pretty good.
All right. Yeah, no arguments there. Number 7 is an interesting one. I can't say that I've seen the entire film, but I've definitely seen clips or have had it in the background of friends' houses. 2001, it's The Princess Diaries. Do you know they're making another one? Like,
Yes, as they should. I have been waiting for the 3rd installment of the franchise, okay?
the third? There's already a second one?
Yes! The second one
Fun.
has Chris Pine, and it's like one of his first movies, and he's an absolute fox in that movie.
So
It's
Anne
great.
Hathaway, I remember this. It's the old ugly duckling storyline, right? And who else was in it?
Not many, like, A-listers.
Julie Andrews, though, right?
Yeah, Julie Andrews, and also Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore was in it.
Oh,
And also, what's the guy, why am I forgetting his name, who plays the like, not butler, but kind of butler. I forget his name. Anyways, whatever. It's a good movie. I recommend it.
And it's so interesting to see Anne Hathaway, who's gone on to do like some big
I know.
like award, and here she is in The Princess Diaries. Is she in the new one?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
It's her. I'm pretty sure well, I don't even know if it's completely confirmed yet, but it's supposed to be like everyone from the second, and then potentially Mandy Moore will come back. She was just in the first one, but she's obviously quite like high profile now, so she probably is going to come back,
What's the Mandy Moore movie where like her boyfriend dies?
A Walk to Remember.
Walk to Remember?
That
Is
might be
it?
on this list. I don't know.
I remember that being like that. That's like the one Mandy Moore movie that I remember.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah. Number 6. We're getting to the halfway point. So let's see if I remember any of these. I do remember Easy A. That's number 6, 2010.
Yes.
This is Emma Stone. Emma Stone. God, she's funny in this one. Remember
I know.
how funny
I
she?
know. She's so great. It's so funny how far she's come. Like, I remember watching her in this and in The House Bunny. I don't know if you ever watched that movie.
No.
But that was like her first movie, and it was her and Anna Faris, and it's so outrageous, and I recommend you watch it.
What's fun about this movie is it's like, and we see this a lot with like old Shakespeare, like they'll turn Shakespeare into like teen movies, but here this is a take obviously on the Scarlet Letter. But yeah, no, I did dig this. I dig and funny stuff from Emma Stone. Yeah. All right, we're at the halfway point. Oh, this is a classic from my childhood, to age myself here. 10 Things I Hate About You. Speaking of the old Shakespeare. 1999. This is with Mr. Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
This is a good one. I remember I saw this on a field trip. Not, I'll clarify. The field trip wasn't to go watch this movie.
Okay.
We went, it was like a drama club we were in, and we were doing a play somewhere. So we went on this field trip to perform, but we had like the next day to like hang out at the local mall.
Okay.
And we went to see this movie, and I remember
that's so cute.
Really digging it. Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and how can we forget Julia Stiles?
Yeah, I think this is one of those teen movies that like even like my brother will watch. You know what I mean? Like this is like one of those teen movies that like kind of transcends the like teen movie stereotype. It's great. Yeah. Also, it's probably because Heath Ledger's in it, but you know.
So it was and speaking, when I mentioned Shakespeare, it's clarifying here that this is the equivalent of The Taming of the Shrew. So that was the takeoff of that. Which is
a crazy name for a play. Now, like in retrospect, I'm like, damn, Shakespeare, you really went for it on that one.
Okay, here we go. Number four. Ooh, I could have pegged this as even close to being number one. It's The Breakfast Club. I mean, you want to talk iconic. 1985, probably one of the, iconic soundtracks, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
But those characters in here were just amazing.
Yeah.
And this is coming at the time. Well, we had 16. Sorry, I was just going to say at the time we had 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and The Breakfast Club all around this time, that kind of mid 80s. Just so good.
Yeah, Molly Ringwald was the queen of teen movies, and I watched this in high school. Like in my high school, we watched this in one of my classes, and then we did a parody of it for like this I think it was for like a variety show sketch, which is so lame. But like this, I feel like this movie is probably one of the most parodied concepts.
I was gonna say I've seen this parodied on like everything from like The Simpsons, The Family Guy, you name it. They've done it. Even they made like there's actually a movie. Remember the scary movies were parodying like Scream and like horror films? There was one called Not Another teen movie.
Yes.
I don't know how well it holds up, but I remember
it does. I'm pretty sure it's like people still love it, I think.
I remember being pretty funny, and they totally did Breakfast Club in that one too. So
yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, what's better teen movies than The Breakfast Club, guys? Let's move on. Number 3 is Clueless. Okay, I see the cultural significance of this because it just blew up. 1995. And speaking of doing another one, they are doing another one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
That's
Nostalgia
wild.
Is king.
What was the character's name? I never even watched Cher,
Cher, that was her name. You never watched this?
This is like one of those teen movies that everyone is obsessed with. Like it had the craziest like resurgence because of, I guess, like the fashion, like the yellow plaid.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know, the
totally.
set, and then like the as if, like all that. Like I know the movie, but Paul Rudd's in it. Like, I know it, but I don't think I've ever watched the whole thing. I just was like, it's fine. Like it's over.
Yeah, all about the Valley Girl stereotype. She was rich. She had like the purses and everything. What was weird too, I remember they made a TV show about this in the right after this in the late 90s, but it didn't star Alicia Silverstone. It was like different.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird.
Weird.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to ask you, going back to Molly Ringwald, is she Archie's mom on Riverdale? Is that who that is?
She was Archie's mom. She is. To be fair, I haven't watched Riverdale in a season or two, and I've lost track of the plot.
Me too.
But she definitely was Archie's mom.
She was? That was her?
Yes.
Okay. I remember that, and I remember being like, oh, I think that's Molly Ringwald.
Yeah.
Okay, well, iconic redheads, right?
Iconic redheads.
Yeah, there you go. All right, number 2. Okay, I see number 2. It's Grease. I can see how that's very close.
I
very
always
curious.
forget that is a teen movie because all
Because
the
they
actors
look-
were like 40.
And they look it.
Yeah, they all have like full beards, and like some of them are going through menopause, and they're like, "It's teen stuff." I'm like, "No, it isn't." No,
It'd be
it's
like
not.
me in a teen movie right now.
Full beard, like, yeah. I mean,
Hey,
yeah,
dudes.
it is iconic though. It's so iconic, especially like it's a musical. We love it. We love the soundtrack.
Yeah, all the Danny and Sandy and yeah, good stuff. Grease, 1978. They did a Grease too. Never watched it.
Me neither. I never watched it. I watched Grease live, like the one with like Joe Jonas and Vanessa Hudgens and the sort of like live production, but I never watched sequels.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I didn't hear good things about it, so I don't think I'll put it on my radar. Here are some honorable mentions before we get to number one, which I'm actually excited to see what it is because, well, Grease or Breakfast Club probably would have topped my list. Heathers, 1988 is an honorable mention. Honorable mention, yeah. They tried to bring that back with like a show. I don't think it got renewed. The Edge of 17. This sounds so familiar. 2016. Is this with Woody? I think Woody Harrelson was in this.
Yeah, it's Haley
As a teacher?
Steinfeld.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's her teacher. Yeah,
That's right.
It's great. It has good. I like the script. I think it's quite fun.
No, I do remember watching that and being like, hey, this is a very smart, fun movie with good performers. She's the Man is an honorable mention. 2006. Amanda Bynes dressed like a guy. That's what it was?
Yeah.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it's the concept maybe didn't age well, okay? But this movie, like when I tell you that if you grew up watching this movie and you rewatch it or someone mentions it to you, it's like you don't even know where it's stored in your brain, but the entire script and all of the quotes in Amanda Bynes' voice are just in your head. And I remember we like posted a TikTok on MoreMojo with like quotes from the movie because I was like, I'm biased and I love this movie. So I posted a TikTok with quotes and the comments went off. Like it got to like 4 million views. Everyone was like commenting even more quotes. Like we were all like, what's going on? So I recommend
That's the hallmark of a good movie. If it can stay in your brain. If it can stay in your brain. They did something right. But yeah, Amanda Bynes, I hope she's in a bit of trouble apparently. So let's hope she gets out of it. She kind of I don't want to call it a Britney situation because I don't know if they're on the same kind of level here, but she's in a conservative.
It was like a Lindsay situation.
Yeah, so she's very troubled. Let's hope she can get out of it because
I hope so too.
People have fond memories of Amanda.
Oh yeah, she was my hero growing up. I'm literally doing an Amanda Bynes movie marathon right now, and I love it. Makes me sad though because I wish she was back.
All right, are you ready to find out this number one movie? I'm very intrigued. Here we go. Watch Mojo's number one teen movie. Okay, I see it. And I'm not going to argue it. Mean Girls, 2004. Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. I was like, what is it going to be? Same as you. I was like, what could it possibly be? And now that you've said it, I have zero complaints. No notes. No notes. The fact that it was written by, once again, full circle moment, Tina Fey.
Yeah.
I think it's the most successful, without a doubt, SNL like alum project of all time.
And we still talk about it today. We still know it, and people are still wanting that sequel.
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan. This is the. Or wait, am I even saying her name right now?
Did you see the TikTok too?
That's what I'm saying. Lindsay. What did she call it?
She said like Lowen or like Lowen. Yeah, and we were all like, I'm sorry. What?
I always do the hard A. Lindsay Lohan.
Do you think she changed it through her break? She was like, F it, I'm going to change my name.
Who knows? Maybe she was just slurring it. Who knows? No, Lindsay's great in this. I remember having the biggest crush on Miss Lowen. And who else is in here?
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams.
You know what's crazy? The same year that Rachel McAdams played Regina George was the same year that she also played Allie in The Notebook. Like the range.
No.
I know.
The same year?
It's wild. Same year. Like they came out the same year. She's just like from one side of the acting spectrum to the other. She killed it.
She's great. Brag alert, I met her and she's so nice.
Of course she is. She's Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. as Canadians. Hey, Kyra, thank you so much. That was so much fun breaking down the top 10 Watch Mojo picks for teen movies. I think they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for joining me here on Poppin the Culture.
No worries. Glad to be here.
And hey, everybody, guess what? It's your Mojo chat of the week. All right. Well, you know my guest from many projects, including the highly popular Yellowstone. Maybe you've heard of it. He's also popping up in the CW series Superman and Lois. We're going to talk that and so much more. Hello, Ian. How's it going?
I'm doing terrific. It's very nice to be here, and thanks for having me.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you, and I want to start with that Yellowstone show first, because I feel like this is one of those shows that every new season, it just got bigger and bigger and more popular. But I feel like the one that just wrapped, season 4, the one that just aired, I feel like that one just took off. I was getting sent memes and GIFs having to do with this particular show. You play the character Ryan. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people love it so much?
It's really, it's a phenomenon, and it started as the creator had a world in mind, and he wanted to set it away from conventional scenes that we see, and it's out kind of in the middle of nowhere, out in the forest, out in the woods in Montana, but he uses the same traditional stories that everybody can relate to. And we often joke it's sort of the Game of Thrones of the West. You have power struggles and violence and sex and corruption and bravery and heroes and villains and all that stuff. And it's set within Americana. So you develop the world and the characters that are so, relatable. I would say they're not simple, but they're complex, but they're not simple. And then with that, you can start pushing the bounds out. Once the world is anchored and people are into it because they can relate to it, they want to see how far you can go and how much more there is to press. And that is the obligation of the writer to fill that for everybody, because the expectations grow with each season, and it just becomes more and more and bigger. And so they are using their imagination to try to make the audience feel satisfied with each passing season.
It's working.
Good. I'll pass that on.
Whatever those writers are doing, it's working, because I know firsthand the people that love the show, they love it a lot. As an actor, that must be kind of fun to play in that kind of Western playground. Tell me about did you have to do some sort of, I don't know if it's called like a boot camp to learn how to ride?
Right, because there's so much horse work on it.
Horse work.
I'm very lucky that I grew up with a grandfather who had a cattle ranch in Wisconsin, and I would go there for the summers. So since I could, operate a horse on my own, probably at the age of 7 safely. Since then, I've been riding. So that made it a little bit easier. But for those who haven't ridden, they get taught, even, as soon as you get the job, they put you on a horse almost the next day. If you live in LA or New York, they take you somewhere. And then we do what's called a cowboy camp every season, right before we start shooting, just to reacquaint everybody with the feel and the mood and the stuff. And so we do, and it's like a boot camp, and it culminates with a Wrangler's rodeo, where we have the professional cowboys, the stunt Ds, the cast, and the creators all team up in different ways, and they compete against each other for the bragging rights. So that's a lot of fun. And I'll tell you, you want to win. You definitely want to win the Cowboy Camp Rodeo for sure. I came in second last year, and I was pissed.
That's awesome.
We didn't win at all.
That is so awesome. And then Kevin Costner, obviously in the show, looks like he's having a great time, just really sinking his teeth into his particular role. You had a connection with him, right? When you were a kid, you were in Wyatt Earp?
Yeah, it's one of the first jobs I ever got. I played young Wyatt in Wyatt Earp. I think it came out in '96. And Kevin, when he did that movie, he played the title character of Wyatt. He's the same age I am now. And I was, I want to say 15 or 16 at the time. And, that's like your dream. One as a boy, because you always just want to, play cowboys when you're younger. So to be on the set and have that happen was a dream come true. And it's something we joke about every now and then on set today. And he'll tell the story to people that don't know it, because we're always just kind of in the same scenes, or, sitting on a fence waiting for a camera. So wow. It's neat to come full circle.
I was going to say that's a full circle moment right there. Speaking of reunions on sets, I mean, you're in the new Superman and Lois. There's a bit of a Teen Wolf reunion?
Absolutely, me and Tyler Hecklin, who played my nephew Derek Hale. We are back, and we have a lot. Most of my scenes are with him. I play Anderson, Lieutenant Mitchell Anderson, and Superman and he are constantly butting heads, both coming from sort of a righteousness position of I want to do the best thing, and who's the boss of how we do it. And that's where the tension comes from. So it's very similar into the relationship that Peter and Derek had, and Tyler being one of my best friends. It's just an absolute treat to go to work every day.
Ian, I love this show. The Superman and Lois is
Thank
so
you.
great because I'm a fan.
It's so well done.
It really is. I'm a big Superman fan of the comics, obviously the movies. But what this show is, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. They've given it this kind of interesting take with the teenage sons, but it still stays true to the mythos of that character. So I love it. Were you a superhero guy growing up, a fan? Anyone?
You know, I grew up in sort of the OG era of the films, watching Christopher Reeve in Superman, and Michael Keaton was Batman, and so that, you know, really like the first generation. I really didn't get into the comic books, but I've gotten to watch all the iterations and the changes in the worlds, you know, in the last really 30 years. And I'm glad you said that about Superman and Lois. For anybody that hasn't seen it, it is such a wonderful departure from your normal incarnation of, especially the Superman itself has had 2 or 3 or even 4 different series of the title character being the lead, but this one is special and it's different. It's got the family component, and it really throws some curveballs at you, and at the same time you've got Superman being Superman. So I encourage everybody to watch it. It is extremely well done.
No,
Yeah,
it really
like
is.
I'm telling you.
No, it's fun. As you mentioned, it's got the family drama, but it's also got the action as well. So don't worry, you got your Superman action in there. You're playing the antagonist. You've played the antagonist before. As an actor, is that kind of, do you enjoy that?
I think for me, I do enjoy it a lot, and it allows me the opportunity to do what are seen as bad things, let's say, make bad decisions or work against perhaps the hero that everyone is rooting for. And then even if you are a good guy and you have really benevolent nature about you, you can still be sort of pigeonholed as being the wrong guy because you're against the one that everyone's rooting for. But within that, as an actor, you have to think, how do I make this okay? How can I do this? And ostensibly doing something really bad in the eyes of the audience, but I have to make it good. So that's where the fun part comes in, is justifying it to yourself, and then having the character have some redemption to him. And I tried to bring that to Peter Hale in Teen Wolf, because, you know, he killed a lot of people, but at the end of the day, you kind of forgave him, or at least you just sort of swept it under the rug. And that's a bit of a victory if you can do that. If the audience ends up hating you at the end, that is, for me, that's not as much fun. So I want to always sort of go out on a high note, even when you do bad things.
The mark of a good villain, of course. Okay, I don't want to keep you, but I do selfishly want to ask you about a particular credit, because I happen to be a mega fan of a show called Mad Men.
Right on.
Yeah, no, it still is one of my favorite shows. I don't think
it's a cultural phenomenon. It is a sliver of zeitgeist that has not gone away.
And
it's marvelous.
You were on the show. You were on Mad Men.
Yep.
You appeared in the show with John Hamm and with Don Draper.
Lucky. So when in the beginning, I think that was first season, in the early years, and the same thing with Yellowstone, when a show comes out and you're making it, you have no idea what it is because you haven't seen it, and there's no response to it. There's no critical review. It's not like, oh, you're on Mad Men. You're on a show that you're like, Mad Men, what does that even mean? That doesn't make sense to me. Obviously in retrospect, it's so cool, but when you're working on it, you're like, I don't know what this is. It's a period drama. You get to wear cool clothes and it's edgy. And I met John, and one of the coolest things about him is we started talking about baseball. He's a huge baseball fan. So, and I was like, well, listen, I got a couple mitts in the car. Do you want to throw some catch during lunch? And he said, absolutely. So he's got his 3-piece suit on, and I'm looking like a beatnik, and we're on the lots in Culver City. No, I'm sorry. We were near downtown, and we're throwing catch right outside of the stages. And I'm like, this is awesome. And we subsequently, we play softball together on the same, with the same group of guys in LA. And he's just as, down to earth as they get. So the whole experience was great being on it. just a lucky one for me to come up with that, but really enjoyed it.
Amazing. Well, between Mad Men, Teen Wolf, Superman and Lois, Yellowstone, you know how to pick them. So don't stop. Don't stop now.
I'm going to try to keep the streak alive.
That's right. The hits keep coming. We want to encourage everyone to check out Superman and Lois on the CW network. Such a fantastic show. And of course, we're all waiting with bated breath for the next season of Yellowstone. Hey, Ian, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for your time. I hope to see you again.
Well, that's going to do it for another episode, everybody. Big thanks going out to Kyra for joining in on all the fun. And how cool is Ian Bohen? Such a great guy. Can't wait to watch him in all the things he's in. And hey, thank you for watching and listening. Till next time, I've been Mr. Hollywood. Poppin the Culture.